DC and Marvel have been rivals for decades, and we're pretty much even for the most part. Nowadays, Marvel is way ahead of DC in the pop culture landscape thanks to the Marvel Cinematic Universe being the single most successful movie franchise of all time, catapulting B-list heroes like Iron Man, Thor, and Captain America into being as iconic, and maybe even more so in the current landscape of pop culture than Superman and Batman. On the flip side, DC has been playing catch-up for years now, and mostly failing to do so, especially with its cinematic universe, which is basically a flip of a coin whether or not any given movie will be successful or good, and it certainly doesn't help when actors like Amber Heard or Ezra Miller get into real-world problems. Now, Warner Brothers has gone through a change in leadership lately, with Discovery buying them out, and with the new CEO David Zaslav making some big changes. With DC, Zaslav has mentioned that he is trying to put together a team of people to create a 10-year plan, which will make DC as profitable as Marvel, and hopefully even more so. It's being said that he wants to focus on the main trinity, Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, and he wants Black Adam to be the first movie in this new universe, where Black Adam is set up as the big bad of this new saga they're setting up. Which I do not think is a good idea, even if The Rock will undoubtedly pull in money. Black Adam is an important character, but at the end of the day, he's not important enough to be the backbone of an entire DC universe. It would make just as much sense to make him the main villain of the next Shazam movie, or maybe like a secondary main villain in a Justice League movie as a member of the Legion of Doom. He's not a hero, he's not the cornerstone of the DC universe. I mean, a DC universe without Black Adam is almost 100% complete, which is not, you can't say the same thing about Batman or Superman. I mean, a DC universe without Superman is barely a DC universe. Black Adam is just not that important, and he's not exactly a Justice League level threat either. I mean, if the Justice League has Shazam and Black Adam has the same exact powers as Shazam, then you don't really need the rest of the Justice League to take him down. Maybe just like one hero to even the scales, but whatever, let's get past all of that. This is, it seems, what they're going with, so let's make the most of it. I'm going to, in this video, make a 10-year plan for DC to see what it could all look like if they actually get it right, where by 2032 people are arguing on YouTube about which saga is better, this one, or the Infinity Saga, or the Multiverse Saga from Marvel, where DC is compared to Marvel on an equal scale. Now, I could basically do whatever I want with the structure of this universe, with a single caveat of Black Adam being one of the more important characters, at least for a bit, but this also means that the JSA are here from the very beginning, which I actually think is an interesting idea for the JSA to be there from the very beginning, because they do predate the Justice League in the comics, but this also means that Hawkman, Dr. Fate, Cyclone, and Atom Smasher will be there in the first movie, and will have to be important characters going forward. So, in order to determine what the next 10 years will look like, we have to first look at everything coming out in 2022 and 2023, and determine basically just what to do with all of these movies, because those 2 years, 2022 and 2023, are a part of this 10-year plan, which lead up to 2032, which is 10 years from now. In 2022, we would get, or we actually got, the Batman and Black Adam, and in 2023, we're getting 4 movies: Shazam! Fury of the Gods, The Flash, Blue Beetle, as well as Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Plus, the Joker is already confirmed for 2024, the Joker 2, that is, which is not going to be a part of the conversation at all. That's obviously clearly its own thing, and not a part of any cinematic universe. So first of all, I think Blue Beetle's inclusion in this universe is 100% dependent on its success. I think if Blue Beetle fails and it flops, then it will just be discarded, never getting a sequel. The character of Blue Beetle will probably be buried, even in the comics and in any other animated show. Because, I mean, like, Green Lantern was buried for a while after the failure of his movie. But if it succeeds, then this movie will be incorporated into this universe. If it makes a lot of money, then Blue Beetle will end up being one of the more important characters in this universe. I'm going to go a bit conservative. I don't think it'll fail, but I don't think it'll be a billion-dollar movie. So let's say it's like, it makes like $600 million, and DC considers that a big success. So Blue Beetle he's not like the single most important character in this universe, but also he does get a trilogy of movies. He might be also on the Justice League or the Teen Titans or something, and he sticks around for a while, which is what I'm basing this entire video off of, Blue Beetle's success. If it doesn't succeed, then the whole Blue Beetle side of things will be completely different. As for Aquaman and Shazam, I think if the connections to the DCEU are loose enough, then they can be included as well. But it doesn't really matter. I think that these actors, Jason Momoa and Zachary Levi, will continue with their roles regardless into this new universe. The same cannot be said about Ezra Miller, who will be recast as the Flash, but the Flash movie will probably still be canon. In fact, the Flash movie will probably be the bridge between the DCU and this new universe, where it creates this new universe. As for the Batman, I think it will be a waste if this movie isn't incorporated into this new universe. I mean, Robert Pattinson is a great version of Batman, and his costume is really cool, and it came out the same year as Black Adam, so why not have Robert Pattinson be the Batman of this new universe? The movie itself doesn't really have any references to any larger DC universe, but it doesn't need to. We don't really know what exists in this universe up until this point, and even if they do exist, there is no reason that they needed to be mentioned, although I'm pretty sure somebody did wear a Superman costume in the Batman movie. So there are hints to the larger DC universe, and I would love it if the Batman is incorporated into this new universe. I know some people want Ben Affleck back, but keep in mind that Affleck was already too tired to play Batman like 2 years in, and this is a character who will have to stick around for at least 10 years. We need someone younger, someone who can remain in the role for a while, and it just so happens that Robert Pattinson is a good 15 years younger than Ben Affleck, and around the same age as Henry Cavill's Superman, so I think that he fits very, very well. I mean, by the end of this 10-year saga, he will still be younger than Ben Affleck is now, so it just makes much more sense. So, what do we have so far? Well, we have Robert Pattinson as Batman, Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, Jason Momoa as Aquaman, Zachary Levi as Shazam, and The Rock as Black Adam. Plus, I heard rumors that Henry Cavill will be returning as Superman as well. Plus the members of the JSA from the Black Adam movie, Dr. Fate, Cyclone, Atom Smasher, and Hawkman. The movies included in this new universe so far are the Batman, Black Adam, and the Blue Beetle, plus with the Flash movie messing with the timeline and the universe enough to have altered versions of Aquaman, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, Wonder Woman, Wonder Woman 1984, Shazam, Shazam Fury of the Gods, and a loosely kind of Man of Steel are all canon as well. But also, like I said, all of them are altered versions of those movies, with certain characters looking different, certain events being different. You can't really call any of them canon, except for maybe Shazam 2 and Aquaman 2. The rest, it's like, I wouldn't really watch it on a rewatch of this saga. So where do we go from there? Well, I think they should give a good few years before they bring together a Justice League, give characters revamped solo movies who desperately need a reinvention and reintroduction into the general audience, and have certain characters meet and team up before the big Justice League team up. So let's start with 2024, and they gotta start work on these movies right away, but 2024 should be the year of the Trinity, with movies for Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman. The Batman movie will be a sequel to The Batman called The Batman Prey, or something like that. It'll have Mr. Freeze as the main villain, but also Batman will face off against superpowered enemies for the first time, the likes of Killer Croc, Clayface, and Man-Bat, to ease him into the larger DC universe and superpowered superheroes. Robin will also be introduced, mainly because I really want to see a movie with Robin, but also because it'll lead into a Teen Titans team-up a little bit later. Then there's the Wonder Woman movie called Wonder Woman Paradise Lost, will be the third and final movie in the Wonder Woman trilogy, hopefully closer to the quality of the first and not the second. I say the final movie in the trilogy, but if it makes money, then they'll absolutely make a fourth Wonder Woman movie, especially since it's only the first movie in this new universe, but it'll feature Cersei as the main villain and introduce Wonder Girl, along with Robin, who was introduced in the Batman this year. This is obviously leading up to the Teen Titans. And finally, a Superman movie, the first one in 11 years. This is a character who desperately needs a reintroduction to the general audience. As one of the greatest superheroes of all time, he just doesn't get that respect. This movie will finally give Brainiac his big screen debut as the main villain in Superman Last Son, which will focus on Superman discovering his Kryptonian heritage and how it conflicts with his real human identity, just to make him more relatable, because people just didn't see the relatability in Henry Cavill's Superman up until now. But the movie's basically about embracing the heritage as well as his human identity, but also transitioning from the locomotive level power and building level jumps of the Golden Age Superman to the modern day god level strength and flying with like heat vision and x-ray vision, all those things, to finally become the real modern day Superman and the world's greatest hero. This isn't an origin story. He's been Superman for 2 years, maybe a couple more, and he's already married to Lois. This is just him taking the next step to become Earth's greatest hero. Also, they should know that they should waste no time in introducing John Kent, because Superman at this point is status quo as being a father, and at some point in this universe, Superman will die or have to be replaced. And at that point, I think John Kent should already be like a teenager, so he should already be ready to take over as the next Superman. In 2025, we'd see other corners of the DC universe, including another desperately needed reintroduction, a character who, unlike Superman, has never even had a good introduction to the general audience and pop culture, which is Green Lantern. I don't know if the HBO Max Green Lantern show will be out by then. I really hope it is. I mean, 3 years from now. It was announced back in, 2016? But regardless, that show will focus on the Earth-based side of the Green Lanterns and may or may not be canon to this universe. I think it will be cool if it is. But it'll focus on Alan Scott and Guy Gardner. This movie, however, called The Green Lantern Corps, will be more focused on the cosmic side of things, and the entire Green Lantern trilogy will focus on the War of Light, starting here with the movie based off of the Sinestro War with Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart as the main heroes, and Sinestro alongside his Corps as the main villains. In the end, Hal Jordan remains on Oa, and Jon Stewart is sent back to Earth to protect his sector, leading to him being the main Green Lantern on the Justice League, at least in the first Justice League movie. Also in 2025, there will be a sequel to Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, and the final movie in the Aquaman trilogy, called Aquaman and the Dead King, which would have Atlan as the main villain and introduce Aqualad, plus completely recast Mera. Then there's The Flash, the fastest man alive, which will reboot The Flash with a completely new actor, supporting cast, and focus for the character. This movie will not be an origin story for Barry because we've seen it before. Instead, while it will still feature Barry as the main character, the origin story part of the movie will be about Wally West as Kid Flash. This movie will have the Rogues as minor villains, but the main villain will be Gorilla Grodd, who in the New 52 comics has a big connection to the Speed Force, so him tampering with the Speed Force and maybe trying to steal Barry's speed is what creates the disturbance in the Speed Force, which creates the lightning bolt, which was intended to strike Iris, but Wally gets in the way, so it strikes Wally, so that there's some sort of connection there. The Speed Force disturbance had a connection to Barry, and basically read his mind and found the person that he cares about the most, which was Iris, so it headed for Iris, but Wally got in the way and it hit him. There should be some sort of explanation for why Wally gets his speed powers, instead of just like, he got hit by a lightning bolt, which is a 1 in a billion chance, the same exact way Barry did. There should be some sort of explanation, so that is what I came up with. And finally, also in 2025, the fourth movie in this year would be a JSA movie, acting as a spin-off from Black Adam, with the returning characters of Dr. Fate, Hawkman, Cyclone, and Atom Smasher, plus a couple new members like Hawkgirl, Black Canary, and Starman. They shouldn't get too big of a team because, well, we'll see later, but the JSA will have a second movie which fully introduces the entire lineup of the JSA, old and new. Moving on to 2026, we'll start off with the third and final Shazam movie, which also acts as a sequel to Black Adam. This movie will be called The Champion of Shazam, and will showcase Shazam and Black Adam facing off. This leads directly into the Justice League movie, which is basically the whole Black Adam trilogy in this first 5 years of the new DC universe. There's Black Adam, then there's Shazam versus Black Adam, which is called The Champions of Shazam, and then the Justice League movie, that's the Black Adam trilogy. He has a lot of appearances, more so than most characters in this saga, because DC seems hell-bent, or Warner Brothers seems hell-bent on making him a significant character. But that's really, that can only last so long for a character like Black Adam. So he is in a trilogy of movies, and he is the main villain of the Justice League movie. But after that, he's gone, and he's not in this universe ever again, until maybe the Legion of Doom / and Justice League show up, and then Black Adam could be one of the members, but not the leader. I think this movie is not only necessary just for Shazam and Black Adam showing off, but also to explain why Black Adam is, by the time Justice League comes out, a Justice League level threat. I think they could be a bit darker than you'd expect, and also add a bit of lore to Shazam that I don't think exists in the comics, by explaining that the power of Shazam is a lot stronger. The Wizard Shazam is a lot more powerful than Black Adam or Shazam or the rest of the Shazam family, but the power of Shazam is split up between all of these champions, with Billy and his entire family and Black Adam. So Black Adam basically severs Billy's connection to his family and basically absorbs that fraction of the Shazam power, and maybe even in a twist ending absorbs Billy's power. He'll obviously get it back in the Justice League movie, but maybe that's why Black Adam is as powerful as he is, and he's a Justice League level threat. He has the full power of the Wizard of Shazam, which is technically the same power level as 7 different Greek gods, or Egyptian gods for the case of Black Adam. So yeah, I think that is a Justice League level threat. By the end of this movie, Shazam doesn't have his powers anymore, but in Justice League he will get it back. Also in 2026, a sequel to the Blue Beetle movie. Now, we don't really know how the original one will shake out, so we can't really predict this one. Just know that there's a Blue Beetle movie that would come out in 2026 in this universe. And finally, a World's Finest movie, which will finally focus on Batman and Superman's friendship and respect for each other instead of them fighting, which makes for a much easier transition into the Justice League movie, with certain characters already knowing each other and being friends and having a past that isn't one of them tried to kill the other one and almost succeeded. And the main villains would be Lex Luthor and Scarecrow, because I want them to be. Oh, and I just realized I only have 3 movies in 2026, even though I had 4 in 2025, and I don't think they would go from 4 to 3 at such a crucial point in their universe. So let's add a Wonder Woman movie here, because why not? I do think they would make another Wonder Woman movie. I mean, we're getting a sequel to the other 2 movies from 2024 for the Batman and Superman ones, so why not add a Wonder Woman one? This brings us to 2027, 5 years into this universe and 10 years since their last attempt at a Justice League movie. We're finally getting the epic team-up of the Justice League. Now, Black Adam is obviously the most significant character in the entire DC universe, so I had to make him the main villain of this movie. And it just so happens that there is an event in the comics, not a very significant one, it didn't really last very long, but it's called World War III, and it's from the 2000s. The story here is that it comes from the aftermath of a series of events which led to Black Adam's son being killed by one of the 4 horsemen of Apocalypse, but it just so happens that he had affiliations with the country of Bialia, which, much like Kahndaq, is also a fictional country in the DC universe, leading Black Adam to committing genocide on the Bialians, killing millions of people in that country. This brings in the heroes of the world to put a stop to Black Adam, who would have to be powered up significantly to be a Justice League level threat, which I already explained in the Shazam vs. Black Adam movie. The Justice League will be a bit different this time around. It wouldn't just be 7 members, but instead every hero who's been introduced up until this point all joining in. It is just 7 members at the end to form a team, but before that, every single hero is here. This includes Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Jon Stewart, Green Lantern, Aquaman, Shazam, Blue Beetle, Dr. Fate, Atom Smasher, Hawkman, Cyclone, Hawkgirl, Black Canary, Starman, Robin, Kid Flash, Aqualad, and Wonder Girl, with only Hal Jordan not being included out of all the heroes we've seen up to this point, aside from the Shazam family. The Shazam family do not get their powers here, they're left with just Shazam, who, Black Adam's still alive, so he doesn't have the full power of Shazam, but he does have half of it, so he's a lot more powerful than he was in his own movies. But Hal Jordan is not included because he's off in space, he's not on Earth, and this is very much so an Earth-based movie. But basically, I didn't want to do just another Justice League origin story with a handful of heroes coming together. It's been done before by Marvel and DC, and it's 2027 by this point. Marvel's already released Secret Wars. DC needs something bigger to compete. So a movie like this, which brings together the entire universe, makes a lot more sense, and could very, very easily lead into the Justice League and the JSA teaming up again in the future, the Teen Titans being formed along with the Justice League, and so much more. Now, I'm not going to delve deep into anything post-Justice League in this universe, for the sole purpose of, for one, I mean, this video was really just about getting to Justice League. I know I called it a 10-year plan video, but it's mostly about really DC turning itself around, reconciling its old universe with this new one, how it could reintroduce certain characters, the way they should do that, and then bringing it all together to a big Justice League movie and what that Justice League movie should look like, all while using Black Adam in the way they want to use him. Everything after that is pretty obvious. I mean, it's continuing every single franchise that right now exists, like the Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Green Lantern, Shazam, Aquaman, Justice League, Teen Titans, and Justice Society. They all get more movies, plus a couple new franchises like Green Arrow, Justice League Dark, maybe some more Suicide Squad movies, maybe we'll see the Legion of Superheroes, but one thing that is definitely important is a New Gods movie, because of what it's all leading up to. It should all lead up to, obviously, a two-parter with Darkseid as the main villain in the style of Infinity War and Endgame, and that actually fits a bit better than you would expect with the movies I've set out up until now, specifically the Justice League movie, which is very Earth-based, but much like the Avengers movie, you would have like a character sent by Darkseid, and that actually is the catalyst for the conflict here. If you remember, I said that the World War III event in the comics was kicked off by one of the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse killing Black Adam's family and much of Kahndaq. Now, in the comics, the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse are not all that associated with the actual apocalypse in that universe, even though they do spell apocalypse the same way. But maybe we could change that here. Maybe we can make it so that instead of them being unknown characters who nobody knows about, like You're the Unknown and Roga of the Seven Atrocities, instead, they could be Kalibak, Desaad, Granny Goodness, and Steppenwolf, who, like, the general audience don't know about, but DC fans usually do. And we can make one of them, those Four Horsemen, is the catalyst for the events of Justice League, and then once you get to the big finale with the Darkseid two-parter, it all connects back around to the first Justice League movie, which fits well with what they gave me to work with Black Adam as the main villain. There's really only one story in the comics that Black Adam was the main villain of as a Justice League level threat, and it just so happens that Apocalypse was kind of technically a part of that, so it works pretty well. And obviously, by the time we get to the Darkseid movies, if that is actually in 2032, or maybe a couple years after that, if they want to develop the universe a bit more before getting there, the universe would be huge in terms of the heroes. I mean, at this point, we've barely touched the surface of every single corner of the DC universe. I mean, for the Superman movies, we so far have only met Superman. For Batman, it's just Batman and Robin, and you know there's an entire Bat family out there to introduce. The Teen Titans, we haven't even met the more iconic members like Starfire, Cyborg, Beast Boy, and Raven. The Justice Society has so many more members to introduce, as does the Justice League, not to mention all the non-connected franchises, like I mentioned, the New Gods, the Suicide Squad, and the Justice League Dark. There's so many more heroes to introduce, not just the ones that we would see by the Justice League movie, where when we get to the Darkseid movies, I want it to be even bigger than Secret Wars or Endgame ever was. Be the biggest superhero movie of all time, because it deserves to be. But if I'm being honest, I'm not that all optimistic about any of these things happening. I mean, even just getting a good Superman movie seems just impossible, and let alone the Justice League movie that I went over for 2027. That would, in and of itself, be the biggest DC movie that they ever made. So the Darkseid stuff seems practically impossible at this point. But if I was in control, and if I had the magical ability to make every single movie good and on time and the exact way I want it to be, then this is what I would want my 10-year plan to look like, with the single parameter of Black Adam having to be a significant character, at least for the first 5 years. But let me know your thoughts in the comments down below about this video. Let me know your thoughts about everything about this universe, what you would change from what I went over, and how you would set everything up going forward, leading into the Darkseid movies. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you like this video, make sure to leave your like, share, and subscribe a little dibble. Bye.